My name is Dr. Michael Ryan. I'm head and curator of Vertebrate Paleontology here at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History, and you're here to join us to talk about my latest dinosaur find. Right now we're standing in my laboratory in the bottom of the basement of the museum, and I'm surrounded by all kinds of different dinosaur fossils, fossil fish, and other cool things that come out of the Cleveland area. Specifically, we're going to talk a little bit about my work in southern Alberta. I've been running the Southern Alberta Dinosaur Project for about 10 years now with a colleague of mine, Dr. David Evans, at the Royal Ontario Museum up in Toronto, Canada. We've been looking at an underexplored area of southern Alberta right along the Montana border that produces, on average now, one new type of dinosaur every year for the last 10 years. For those of you who are familiar with Alberta, it's mostly grassland, lots of ranching and prairies down there, but along the river cuts you get these deeply dissected badlands, and it's out of these Cretaceous age badlands that we actually find dinosaurs. In the area where we're working, they're extremely steep and they're not as well exposed as they are in some other parts of the world, so it takes a lot more time and effort to actually find things, but when you do, they're unique and novel. So today we're going to be talking about my new horned dinosaur, Xenoceratops foremostensis. Xenoceratops refers to the fact that it's foreign or alien. Ceratopsians are very poorly known in this part of Alberta. It comes from a formation known as the Foremost Formation, which to date has no known horned dinosaurs from it. So our Xenoceratops is the first dinosaur from this area. It's named Xenoceratops foremostensis because the smallest, or the nearest town where anybody lives, is a village called Foremost, so we've named it after that town as recognition of that. So for those of you who are familiar with horned dinosaurs, you would be familiar with the large animals like Triceratops with the massive frills off the back of their skulls and the big horns that come forward. This belongs to the other subfamily. Triceratops belongs to the subfamily Chasmosaurinae. Our new dinosaur belongs to the Centrosaurinae. In fact, it's the basalmost member of the Centrosaurinae. So it has some characters shared with things like the Chasmosaurs. It probably had large, broad brow horns over its eyes and would have had the large shield. But uniquely off the back of the shield, it has these little small spikes that come off and little tabs that curl forward. What we discovered was a small bone bed of three adult-sized individuals. And in fact, what we did is we rediscovered the bone bed that Dr. Juan Langston collected back in the late 50s. The material that he collected went to the museum in Ottawa, the Canadian Museum of Nature, where the holotype is now housed. And some of us recognized parts of the skull of this animal as something brand new. We went back to Alberta, we found the hole in the ground where Dr. Langston collected this animal from, but unfortunately there was nothing more there. But that sent us back to Ottawa, Canada, where we actually found in the collections unopened field jackets from almost 60 years ago. So we actually took those to Toronto, to the Royal Ontario Museum, where the technicians opened those up. Technicians and volunteers prepared the material, and eventually we could piece together one complete frill. So that's how we know we have a brand new dinosaur. Unfortunately, we didn't find the rest of the body. We didn't find any postcrania, legs, limbs, or anything else. But because this animal is a centrosaur, we know that it was a large horned dinosaur. It would have been a plant eater. It would have been terrorized by things like probably Daspletosaurus or Daspletosaurus relatives. That's an animal that's very similar to Tyrannosaurus rex, which was around at the end of the Cretaceous. At this point, we're hoping to go back to southern Alberta, to the area around Foremost, and try to find more of this thing. We have in the wings at least 2 or 3 new dinosaurs that are coming out, all of which are horned dinosaurs. And from the same area, we actually discovered in the last 2 years, in 2010 and 2011, 2 other types of brand new dinosaurs that we'll be talking to you really soon about on these videos.